His mother, intent on defying stereotypes that black kids don't swim, made sure her baby from early on was in the pool. And from the start, it was clear a young Jamal Hill from Inglewood was born for the water and born to compete. So talented, his time in the pool early on would plant big seeds for big Olympic dreams. But at just 10 years old, those dreams would be derailed. A devastating diagnosis left him paralyzed, unable to walk, let alone swim. When it went into remission, he would have to relearn everything to walk, return to normal life. It would be 6 years until he would return to the pool, and against all odds, to competition, where for years he would hide the pain and challenges of his affliction. But when he could no longer hide the truth, he made the hardest decision of his life, trading those Olympic dreams for the Paralympics, where out of the gate in Tokyo 2020, Jamal brought home bronze in the 50-meter freestyle, the victory of a lifetime. Then the Paris Games in 24, he placed fifth, not what he wanted, but missing a medal, he says, only fueled his dream to win in LA on his home turf. Excitement evident when the champion from Inglewood was tapped to pass the torch for the LA Games in 28, where he says he's going for gold. But it's not just medals he's after. Jamal is on a mission to use his platform to inspire.
Breathe. Good.
His goal? To teach 1 million people in underserved communities to swim. For him, it's all about access.
Jamal guided me, he helped me breathe, he helped me persevere through it, and just keep going.
Through his books or on the speaker circuit, his message clear: every challenge can be overcome. Inglewood's native son, Paralympic champion swimmer Jamal Hill. He is today's LA Story. Hello, everyone, and welcome to an exciting new edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez, and we are coming to you from the beautiful Friendly Hills Country Club here in Whittier, and we are here with Paralympic champion, swimmer Jamal Hill, motivational speaker, celebrated author, businessman, head of his own foundation. Oh my gosh, when do you sleep? It's great to meet you.
An absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
When you think about everything you've accomplished with your physical and emotional challenges that come with it, what would you say is the main driver to your resilience to have gone for all you've done?
Oh, I mean, if I just had to boil it down, I would say it would be a sense of my mortality. It's a bit tried and true, but you only live once. So, I mean, time's passing regardless, whether I sit on the sofa for 5 years or I get out and live my dream, the 5 years is gonna pass either way. So I chose the latter.
You just have a go for it mentality.
Just a bit of a go for it mentality. According to the world, I'm not even supposed to be swimming. After that, diagnosed paralyzed in a hospital bed. According to the world, I'm not supposed to be walking. Yet here I am on this global stage, able to do all these things.
Just looking at you, you'd never know you had any physical challenges or disabilities whatsoever. And you call that an invisible challenge.
Yeah.
And it's something that's very important to you to point out because many people, in fact, most of us have some invisible challenge, right?
100%, 100%. That's 100% true. Physical, emotional, mental, dare I say, even spiritual challenges. Everybody's going through something, perceiving that others aren't facing their own challenges. It being a physical disability and not looking like one, it definitely did make my self-acceptance journey through childhood unique.
I want to take us back to when you were a little baby and your mom in a Mommy and Me class took you to a swimming class because she wanted to defy all those stereotypes that black kids just don't swim in the inner cities, right? How important was that now looking back on what your mom did and her influence on you?
Can I just take a second and acknowledge my appreciation for how you just called that straight out and named it? I think it's very rare nowadays everyone, they tiptoe around things that we know are true, so thank you so much. And I appreciate that because it reminds me a lot of the courage that I've been able to witness in my mother. She didn't even know how to swim. What it took for her to say, hey, look, my son is going to know how to swim. He's not gonna be put in a box, he's not gonna be limited.
And when you were 6 years old, you said, I want to compete. And everyone around you that watched you in the pool said, he is a natural born swimmer. You just loved it.
It just gave me a sense of belonging. All of us have that inner child, And that's what that inner child yearns for, you know, just a place to express. And then also, I'm objectively good at it. That doesn't hurt too, right? Getting pats on the back is definitely good. Wait, you're telling me I'm having fun and I'm doing a good job? Okay. It just stuck. It just stuck.
So by age 10, your body starts to fail you. You're having trouble with your arms, your legs, and I understand you were hospitalized, you were paralyzed. Take me back to when you were that 10-year-old boy going through that. I mean, that must have been terrifying.
Being 10 years old, I didn't know enough to know what was really going on. All I knew was I can't move, I can talk, but my parents are here, and they did something so miraculous. They stood strong and they harnessed an energy that said, regardless of what the doctors say or this situation, son, you are enough and you always will be.
They told you that?
They told me that. They told the doctors that too. Let me tell you, my mom, brilliant woman, biggest heart in the world. She's from Compton, California.
Compton strong.
Compton strong, man. When the doctors came into that room, spewing limiting beliefs, you know, about how the quality of life of her son was now gonna be confined to these 80 some odd pages of a medical journal, she went ahead and let them know, hey, my son is enough, and no booklet is going to tell him that he can or cannot walk or be the president or swim. It's gonna be tough, but welcome.
Your parents, I understand, told you your diagnosis and put a name to it. Am I saying it correctly? Charcot-Marie tooth disease? Did
Absolutely.
I really?
Yeah.
I thought
Do
it
you
was like
speak
some French name.
It is French.
Charcot-Marie tooth.
Oh, you even got an accent. Oh, very good.
This is a neurological condition that affects your muscles
Correct.
and weakens you.
Correct.
You couldn't lift your arms?
I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't walk. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to relearn how to write. I had to relearn how to open doorknobs, how to take a seat.
How did that change you?
What it did teach me was that with practice, things improve. It did teach me that, and that has been fundamental thread throughout my entire life. With practice and focus. Now, I can't promise, and this is actually my father JB's words, I can't promise you that you'll ever be the best in the world, but I can promise you, if you show up and you do your best, you will be better than you were yesterday.
And that has been a guiding principle
That has been a
throughout your
guiding
life.
principle. I didn't compete or swim for the next 6 years. I got to high school, and the high school I transferred to had a swim team. I'm like, I'm the best at this. Like, I should do it again. And I think it had just been enough time. And like I said, my parents raised me to be courageous, very courageous. They say, you know what? If things start going wrong, then we'll stop.
And no one knew that you had this disability. You kept it a secret.
Even though I'm living through this every day, I have separated my identity from that experience, right? So it's not even something I consciously think about when I come up against challenges. And this one is the most silent. It's also the most sinister. It was a deep sense of shame.
Because you were not, in your mind, normal, quote, normal?
Exactly. It's definitely been a journey just of self-acceptance, right? Regardless of how human it is to have something going on, all of us still, I think, have that innate desire to be normal, to not have nothing going on.
You weren't going to let anything stop you. You came to USC, I understand, to the elite Trojan swimming team.
The coach I had at the time, wonderful woman.
Wilma Wong.
Wilma Wong, absolutely. Shout out to Wilma Wong.
She noticed.
She noticed.
Movement issues.
She was the first person that noticed and like assigned it to something medical, right? Like as opposed to leaning into more stereotypes, oh, black people don't swim. She was the first person to say, this reminds me of cerebral palsy or some type of neuropathy that I've experienced in the past. And the relationship that we had and the vision that she had to see that gave me this space and the comfort to trust her and say, hey.
And so you shared this with her?
I shared it with her. She was the first person in a dozen years that I shared this with.
How liberating was that?
Oh boy, so liberating, followed by the immediate weight of liberation. So as soon as I felt liberated, the conversation shifted from, well, hey, Jamal, we know this diagnosis. You want to go to the Olympics. Let's just call a spade a spade. You're a great swimmer, going against the other greatest swimmers in the world. Your lower half of your legs don't work. What about the Paralympics? Maybe that's when the weight hit me. Whoa, time out. Okay, I just shared something very intimate with you, Coach Wong. That said, my name's Jamal Hill, and there's still nothing wrong with me. So I don't think I'll be exploring the Paralympic route.
What changed?
A friend flew in from the UK, very talented swimmer. And I get up on the blocks, I race this guy, and across the short distance, I'm still very fast. But he says to me, I'm 2 meters ahead of you just off the dive. Did you know your legs don't work? And then just goes on this tirade about how excited he is and you should join the Paralympics. You'll do great. You'll be able to compete with people with similar disabilities. And he starts, in his excitement, he's reading my face like, you're not seeming too receptive to this. Maybe I should slow down. And, you know, being a man of faith. And so I took that moment as divine intervention and I excused myself from practice. I was at this literal crossroad. I can either continue to live in silent shame, hiding who I am, what my experience is, my dream of being a pro swimmer and medalist, it's gonna die. But if I just show a little bit of courage, accept me for who I am, tell my truth, at least it lives another day. There's a chance here.
Well, and you turned that obstacle into huge opportunities, as you like to say, competing in the 2018 U.S. Paralympic Swimming Para-National Championships. You placed first 100-meter, right, freestyle, 50-meter freestyle, second in 100-meter backstroke. You're a two-time champion silver medalist. During the 2020 Paralympic Games, you won the bronze medal in the 50-meter freestyle. Take me back to first triumph. When you hit that podium, you made it. What did that feel like to you? What did it symbolize for you?
Oh my gosh, I'll tell you this. Instead of spinning around and looking at that clock, I paused because it was so important in that moment for me to know that no amount of, a stranger, with all due respect, putting a medal around my neck was gonna turn me into a champion in that moment. I was already a champion. Everything for 5 years for me has been coming to this one moment. I can breathe, my goodness. And I got a medal. That was the moment that I knew I could make a career out of this. I'm like, okay, I get this landscape. I know what it's gonna take. I think I can do this for 10 years to 2028, right? The vision, begin with the end in mind already.
Oh my gosh.
Already beginning with the end in mind. Absolutely, right? Gotta know where you're going.
And Jamal knew exactly where his sights were set, the Paris 2024 Games, then his hometown in 2028. What he calls now Operation Domination, when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with celebrated Paralympic swimmer Jamal Hill, who won bronze in the 2020 Paralympics in Tokyo, a victorious moment against all odds. That was a culmination of all your hard work. Then you hit Paris 2024.
Yes.
You placed fifth in 50-meter freestyle. Not what you wanted.
No.
How did you process that disappointment? And did it fuel you to come back with a vengeance, or did it set you back?
Those are two great questions, actually. Going into Paris was extremely challenging for me.
Why?
Extremely challenging. Well, one, going into Tokyo had a 5-year span. Coming into Paris, there were only 3 years. Secondarily, coming into Tokyo, all I really had was swimming. That was the number one thing to juggle. Coming into Paris, there's a lot more things pulling on my attention, my mental energy. People underestimate the value of the mental energy in peak performance. And then also, that catch-22 of, you're very successful. You reach a version of your dream, and the dream remains, but the fantasy gets washed away. Right, so now—
You were disillusioned?
There was a level of disillusionment, right? That kind of from boyhood to manhood.
It wasn't just about the joy of the sport, it was also the pressure to then win.
Not even that. I wish it was that. It was the bureaucracy that came with it. The business of it, and that's what started to pull the love out of the swimming for me. I felt like I was on an island. Just a lot of mental pressure. I made some very simple mistakes in my finals that I never make, and that's where the stress, has those slight cracks. But hey, we live and we learn.
We live and we learn. It certainly didn't stop you. You still were chosen to carry that torch in the Paris Games and the transfer for Los Angeles 2028, your hometown.
Absolutely.
What did that mean to you?
It honestly, it makes me feel like the Duke of Los Angeles. I'm serious. It makes me feel like the Duke of Los Angeles.
And now, of course, your sights are set, and I understand with total domination approach. That's the name of your approach.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Operation Total Domination. What exactly does that mean?
That means world record. That's very simple. That means there's only one way to completely dominate. My little cousin asked me, do you have any American records? I'm like, yeah, I got 19 of those. He's like, great. Do you have a world record? It's like, wow. No, but I mean, he's like, were you ever close? I'm like, define close. So that's what Operation Domination is. It's a world record.
Well, you've already broken so many records in terms of your inspiration, your motivational speaking, the books you've written to empower and uplift others through your foundation and your businesses. And we're going to get into that because it's inspiring when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with the inspiring Paralympic champion, Jamal Hill. Is CMT, Charcot-Marie Tooth disease, is it hereditary?
It is hereditary and it's also progressive.
How does it still affect you today?
I've got about 0% nerve capacity from my elbow to my fingertips. And then from my knees to the soles of my feet, I have 0% nerve capacity. So what that is, it's almost like having flesh and blood stilts. My knees feel like my feet. And I'm just kind of balancing my center of gravity over my lower legs. The main thing that we try to do is just get in streamline. It's not about power. It's just get into the water and just carry any momentum that I can.
You said it wasn't just getting those medals that was driving you to succeed and to push past all of the obstacles you faced. It was inspiring and uplifting others. Where'd you get that?
But I've always believed that champions are not defined by their trophies, they're defined by the causes that they champion. Using your platform, your skills, your heart to give voice and action to those who are less empowered with their voice and action. So I wanted to be a champion in the truest sense.
And my goodness, I mean, you're not only an ambassador for CMT, the affliction that you deal with every day, you also started your own foundation called Swim Uphill. And your mission is to teach 1 million people in underserved communities how to swim. Why is this so important to you? Because it's not just about swimming. This is about access and race.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's so important. I think, quite frankly, drowning is one of the last great global endemics. And it really comes down to access and education. You highlighted race, but I would even take it slightly more macro and say race is typically a function of class. We're talking about low-income communities, both nationally and internationally, that do typically tend to have certain ethnic backgrounds historically. So that's really what it's about. I just felt like, hey, you know, I think enough education to keep people from drowning is like a low-hanging fruit in the world's problems. Maybe that's something that, you know, me and a coalition can have a movement towards solving it, and that's the inspiration behind it.
Talk to me about your books and your motivational speaking, because it's just as much a part of your advocacy as your Uphill Foundation.
My books are just meant to be tools of service, right? The populations that we're looking to serve, they're battling a conscious affront on the abilities ascribed to their identity, right? Oh, you're this color, you don't swim. You're this color, you're from this background, you don't read, you shouldn't have access. So the biggest thing that my children's books do is to be tools to inspire caring and interest, to meet them where they are, allowing them to see themselves first person in these stories, right? Whether it be their gender or their ethnicity or their community, they see that story where they know they belong here. That is so important.
And you're also an ambassador for the CMT Foundation.
Absolutely.
Research.
The whole point of the CMT Research Foundation is to find a cure.
Are you close?
Closer than ever before. There you go, there you go. They are closer than ever before.
Jamal Hill trying to close this one out with an amazing time.
There's really nothing I can't do. I'm a winner.
You're part of that adaptive series on Peacock. They're profiling other Paralympic champions.
It's so exciting. They've been chronicling my journey as a Paralympic swimmer, 2 Paralympic wheelchair basketball players, actually lovers. So there's a love thing going on in the series. And then, quite frankly, our fearless series leader, young Ezra Freck of track and field, just won 2 gold medals in Paris. They've been following us all since before Tokyo. So the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs. It's a beautiful just taste of what goes into being an athlete and really just living in the world at this level as we lead into LA 2028.
There's so many young people out there looking at you, so inspired by what you've been able to achieve. What's your message to them when they say, oh my gosh, I can't overcome this?
My message to them is, whoever you are and whatever you're going through, I can't promise you that you're ever going to be the best at that thing, or that goal or that dream is going to fully manifest in all the ways that you're imagining if you have the courage to have that goal and that dream. But I can guarantee, if you continue to work on it every day and you keep that dream and that vision in your heart, it will get closer than it has ever been.
Well, I'm hoping to watch you get closer than you've ever been to that podium with that gold medal. But I know that winning and being a champion has far more meaning to you, empowering others. And I so wish you the very best.
Oh, thank you. We got to do this again.
Jamal Hill, what an honor and a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck in 2028. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching another edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez. See you next time. Brilliant. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.